It is June 27th, 2025, and it is time for another episode of Shit Hit the Fan News. And dudes, we are going to burn through this one today because June was a real doozy. That's right. Just crazy shit kicking off, man. And for a good part of it, for like 4 days, I had no service. I went out and did part of the Rubicon with my wife and my brother. Had a good time, and I was like, I bet some shit's going to kick off while I'm gone. And normally, you guys know, if you follow Shit Hit the Fan News, I normally do this like the last day of the month. But it's my 13th anniversary this weekend. And the wife and I have some plans. So unfortunately, I might miss any more craziness that kicks off at the end of June. Please don't hold it against me. Let's get after it, pimps. One of the things I thought was hilarious that we learned during June was that the Democrat Party's top pick to run for president in 2028 is Pete Buttigieg. How do you know a party is going completely down the toilet? That's how. That their number one pick is Pete Buttigieg. This is the dude that couldn't even run the Department of Transportation worth a shit. So let's make him the president. Great idea. This is the dude that oversaw that 2023 East Palestine toxic train derailment in Ohio. He totally shit the bed on that. And also news that came out in June is that the White House literally lied about the risk of that derailment to residents. Emails show it. And what does that tell us again? Something we constantly go over on this channel. Never trust your government. That's right, kids. Repeat after me. Never trust your government. And that leads us into the next thing. The Biden administration apparently classified millions of Americans as domestic terrorists for not being pro-vax. So we've already gone over don't trust your government. And then we realize that your government is labeling you as a potential domestic terrorist because you don't like the shit they're trying to force on you. You can't ever trust them, guys. You can't. It does not matter who is running the show. Every single thing that they tell you, you should question it. And you should look into it if you're interested, if you care. And you should have sources that are reliable. Not the ones that are blowing smoke up your ass like the mainstream media, man. And I know a lot of guys are like, well, Fox News is great. Fox News blows smoke up your ass, too. They just blow right-wing news up your ass. More news. 2 Chinese nationals attempted to smuggle in this fungus that could easily be considered a bioterrorist weapon. And this didn't just happen once, guys. I saw more news where 2 more Chinese nationals were caught trying to smuggle in some other bioterrorism shit. So this happened twice in June. Now, what does that tell us? It tells us that we are actually in a Cold War with China right now. That's where we're at. We're in a fucking Cold War with China. They're over there like, oh, you're going to slap a whole bunch of tariffs on us? Fine, we're going to send shit over there and just destroy the Great Lakes. Which apparently the Great Lakes is like the largest part of America's fresh water supply. You know, kind of nuts, right? And while we're talking about war, let's talk about where the progressives are right now. And you guys know this is not a political channel. Okay, it's not. I talk about progressives a lot because they are extremely dangerous. They like to use the word progress to describe what they're doing, but there's nothing progressive about it. Their idea of progress is to destroy everything that's old. It doesn't matter how good it worked. It doesn't matter how far it's launched humanity into better technologies and better lives and longer lifespans. It doesn't matter, right? They want to get rid of everything old and bring in all the new, and all the new happens to be socialist and communist ideals. So they need to destroy God because they want government to be your God. They need to destroy your freedom. They want your government to be your master. Getting back on these progressives here, they think they want a civil war, and I think that this is hilarious because The massive majority of progressives that I know, they don't even own any firearms. They don't grow the food either. They don't have the livestock. It's like, what do they fucking have, man? It's like, what do they have that's actually going to help them win a civil war? And I'll tell you what the answer is. Are you ready? Guess first, though. Put it down in the comments below. What is the one thing that they have that can help them win a civil war? All right, here it goes. I'm going to answer the question for you. It's the government. The government is in their back pocket. And why? You have to ask yourself, why has the government over these last, at least this last administration, but even prior to that, I mean, look at where all the U.S. aid money's gone. Look at where all the foreign aid money is going. It's going to fund progressive shit around the freaking globe, man. Why is our government in league with progressives? It's because the government wants to control you, and progressives want your government to control you. They have that similar interest. Oh boy, if it ever actually gets there and they win, and the government has embedded itself in every tiny little piece of your life, like it's bad right now, right? But just imagine if the progressives had their way. We're talking mass surveillance. If it ever gets there, man, they're going to regret it. Because in the end, when the government has all this power, it doesn't give a shit who you're affiliated with. It doesn't care what political group you're a part of. I mean, there's some exceptions there, right? Like if we look at Russia back in the day, you know, you got people of a certain political affiliation that were holding the reins of power, but those people would disappear. Those people would end up in the gulags, man. It's just a bad idea and it doesn't work. The history's proven this. Like, the more freedom all of us have, the better off we're all going to be. Let's move on. DOGE is cooked, unfortunately. That's all we get. That's all the American people get, man. It's like 5 months of DOGE going through shit and looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, we're done now. That's it, you know. We found it all. Like, we're golden now. There's no more waste, fraud, and abuse happening. Speaking of fraud, waste, and abuse, let's move on to Trump's big, beautiful, butt-fuck America bill. Now, I know there's some good things in it. I know a lot of you Trump supporters are going to get, you know, a little irritated with me about this one, possibly. There's some good shit in it. Do I want suppressors to not require a tax stamp anymore and a background check? Fuck yeah. Tax cuts? Good, right? We want that. Governments actually make more revenue when taxes are lower because people spend more money. They've got more money to spend themselves, and so they spend it. They get taxed, even though the taxes are smaller, and the government ends up with more revenue. So this is just smart. But this bill, guys, it's over 1,000 pages long. And you cannot have a bill that is over 1,000 pages long that also has America's best interests at heart. You can't. It's too long, man. They got people voting on this damn thing, and they haven't even read it. They don't even know what the fuck they're voting on. But a lot of it's pork, right, guys? It's the same shit that's been going on in this country for decades now. Oh, you want me to vote on your bill? You're going to have to bribe me with money for my state. That's how it gets played, isn't it? And it's just gross, man. The politicians on the right. You know, I thought things were going to be a little bit different here because Trump, when he got into office and started kicking things off, especially with this whole DOGE thing and shutting down certain departments, that's the kind of stuff that I expected a libertarian president to do. And he got in, he started doing it, but look it, we're back to business as normal. How disappointing. And it's just gross to me that politicians over there on the right, the massive majority of them, because there are a few dissenters, but the majority of them have not pulled their heads out of their asses. They are completely out of touch with what their constituents want to see. I'd rather they pass a 10-page bill every day. I'd really rather they just pass nothing. I'd rather they just get in office and just collect their paycheck and just stay home like the whole time they're in office, really, man. Because if you think about it, the American people would be better off. I know it's crazy, right? It's crazy, but that's where we are. Our politicians are literally screwing us. They are leading us down the road to utter bankruptcy and failure of the dollar. But they're more interested in taking bribes, collecting money for their state or their congressional district so they can get reelected and keep collecting that great paycheck. They're more interested in that than they are in what we want or what's right. So it's just fucking gross, guys. And there is something called the Congressional Pig Book, by the way. It's published annually by Citizens Against Government Waste. If you're really interested in what politicians are doing, you can get on there and you can find out who's putting the pork in these bills. Last but certainly not least, Trump bombed Iran, right? And it happened while I was at the Rubicon. I had like no service, and as soon as I get service again, man, my patrons are on the Signal group chat, and they're like, Trump just bombed Iran, you know? And here's the thing about this, dudes. I should address this because there's been a number of comments on my channel from people like, you don't know why Iran shouldn't have nuclear power. It's because they're going to nuke Israel as soon as they get a nuke. And a lot of times it gets blamed on the Muslims. Here's the thing, dudes. Pakistan has had nukes for decades, and it's 96% Muslim. And guess who it's nuked? Nobody. So I'm going to call bullshit on the whole Muslims can't have nukes argument. Next, who's been the aggressor when it comes to what's going on between Israel and Iran? Israel has been the aggressor, man. They keep throwing the first punch, right? They throw a punch. Iran's like, well, we're going to retaliate, and then they do it, and it's nothing big. They shoot some missiles at a freaking air base and blow up a shed, you know? And then freaking Israel murks another one of Iran's generals, and Iran's like, okay, well, we're going to have to retaliate again. And so that's how it's been going. And us getting involved, I'm very much against this. The approach that Trump took with dropping bombs on Iran. Because, you know what it's akin to? Guys, it's akin to the movie Minority Report. All right? Like, oh, you're going to commit a crime in the future, but you haven't done it yet. So we're going to find you and we're going to arrest you. We're going to throw your ass in prison, man. This is like you spanking your kid because you think he might get into the cookie jar in the future. It's like you beating up your daughter's new boyfriend because he might beat her in 6 months. It's fucking stupid, man. And you know what? As Americans, we should be better than this. Like, think about it. Let's say China bombed us because they're worried that we might get nuclear weapons in the future. How would you feel about that? You'd be fucking pissed. You'd be like, we're going to war. So now take yourself and put yourself in the shoes of the Iranian people and the people running that country and ask yourself, where would you be? You know what? You'd fucking hate us, man. So we need to do better as Americans. We need to do a better job of setting a good example around the world and trading with people and creating peace and not bombing people for things they haven't done, but things that they might do in the future. So this was a huge step backwards, guys. And even worse, China and Russia are talking about supplying Iran with nuclear weapons now. Boy, did that fucking backfire, man. This is why you don't bomb people that haven't done anything to you. So to basically sum up June, man, it was just a huge freaking shit show. We know we're in a soft revolution in America right now. The left has its head totally up its butt, which is kind of funny to me. And I think it's really probably a good thing because I think they're taking us down the wrong road. The Democrat Party is not what it used to be. It's completely lost itself. You know, so go ahead, man. Run Pete Buttigieg in 2028 and see what happens. We know that we're in a Cold War with China. DOGE, you know, that whole thing, it's so sad. I wish that DOGE just would have kept on with this thing and kept cracking away at it like it was and arresting people. I want to see people fucking go to jail for stealing taxpayer dollars, but I just don't think it's going to happen, guys. Business as usual when it comes to politics, right? Our politicians still don't get it. They're still taking us towards financial ruin. And I do think that there's, like I said, I think there's some good things about Trump's big bill. and quite possibly, the tax cuts. And I mean, look what's happened with the tariffs so far. Everyone was just scared shitless about how this was going to just trash us and cause all this inflation, all this kinds of stuff. None of that's happened. And the government is raking it in hand over fist. And a lot of the stuff that I've bought in the past that's made in China, guys, I get online to go look at it. It's the same fucking price. Like, how? Why is it the same price despite the tariffs? And you know why? Because their profit margin was so ridiculously high that they've just taken a hit in profits so that they can continue to sell their goods here cheaper than American companies can manufacture it. So all the tariffs have really done is just increase government revenue. Lastly, we're obviously not out of danger when it comes to full nuke war. Things in the Middle East are probably going to continue to escalate. We'll see. Trump's now got this ceasefire going on between Iran and Israel. How long is it going to last? Probably not that long. Although I think he does have a lot of leverage on Israel. We provide Israel with so much money and so many weapons of war. If he decides to just threaten to pull the plug on that, Netanyahu will probably get his dumb ass in line. Bottom line, though, guys, if June has shown us anything, it's that prepping is still where you want to be. That's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it right there. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, give us a comment down below, and I'll see you guys at the next one.